welcome to Revolving Culture. Here we are, born to be kings. We're the princes of the universe. And we're a new podcast attempting to, perhaps the best way to put it is get to the creamy center of the pop culture Twinkie. We're hoping to move beyond just the stuff is cool and look at why stuff is cool. Does that seem like something everybody's on board with?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
So let's just take a moment because this is a 7-step program. Not quite 12 steps, but we're going to get there. For everybody's information, my name's Marty. Let's see. I'm a Libra / Virgo / Sagittarius. Comes from being immortal. You get lots of birthdays. Let's go around to my right, sir.
Hi, my name is Robbie, and I enjoy many myriad things.
Myriad
But-
things.
Many myriad things.
Many myriad things.
But within each of those things, only a few specific things. If you really look at it, the most things I hate.
As do we all. I think anybody that's going to investigate pop culture has to have a healthy foundation of hate.
But the things I enjoy, I will speak with enthusiasm on.
And across from me, the big daddy of this podcast, this was kind of his brainchild, birth child. It came sprung from his skull.
It came from my loins.
Oh, wow.
Marty, I just wanted
I forgot I have that
correct
home
you
video
there.
too. That'll be posted on our website.
Yes. Thanks for listening, everybody. My name's Andrew Esparza, and friends with these guys for years, and hoping that this venture is fruitful.
Well, anything coming from your loins probably going to be fruitful.
Well, that's not what the doctor says.
All right, and to his right.
To me being center of myself, I'm Jeremy, and this is my first podcast. I've never done a podcast before.
I think this is pretty much everybody's
Yes.
first. So we're for lack of a better
But don't take it
terms-
away from me.
You mean you nerds haven't been on a podcast before?
So do we have to call
Little
ourselves
half for me.
newbies? Is this do we have to drag that term out? And to Jeremy's right.
Hi, I'm Vicky, and I boned my way to the top.
Hey, there's a long list of successful people who could probably say that. Really, I kind of thought that we looked at kind of who we are, and I thought we might take a moment. All of us can kind of talk about where we hope this goes, kind of what we're looking for out of this. Let's let Andrew kind of. This was your visionary brainchild, so why don't you hit that?
Yeah, I think the thing that's going to set us apart from other pop culture podcasts is our podcast provides an in-depth look at pop culture trends from their origins to how they might inspire future generations. That's straight from our website.
The mission statement.
Yes, that's our mission statement. We want to kind of give the history of certain trends, show not only how they were developed, the influences that real-world situations brought on those trends, but also how they might inspire our future. I just said the exact same thing that I said before.
You know what? We're all right with that. No, we're good. And let's see. Would we have anything? Excuse me. Let's take a look at anything really. I think maybe we ought to start off by addressing the 300-pound gorilla in the room, which is Friday this past. Netflix unveiled probably. My guess is the creators of said property are going to be named, spoken in hushed reverence throughout the cultural world for the next year or so. Stranger Things, if you haven't checked this out on Netflix, it hit on Friday, and I think it's pretty well, to the extent we've had the ability to watch it, I think it's pretty well sucked our collective psyches and nailed it to a television screen. Has everybody kind of had that same experience with it?
I've been
Yeah.
very impressed with it.
I really could not stop watching. And that's a cheesy thing to say, but
No, it's my better
amazing.
half could care less about this sort of stuff. And after 2 episodes last night, it's like time for bed. And I keep hearing this, like, where are you going? No. Hit play again. I'm like, I can't hit play again. And again, this is not in her wheelhouse, but it nailed her eyeballs to the screen just like everybody else's, I think. What did you think about it, Andrew?
Oh, I felt as though they somehow created I don't know. All the things that I've enjoyed for the past few years, I'd say 2 or 3 years, it's been funneled into this television series. Or, I don't know, is it a mini series at this point?
At 8 episodes, I think you said. I'd call it a mini series.
It's amazing. From the soundtrack, I'm not even certain who did it. There's a couple guys. I looked it up. I do not have that information in front of me, unfortunately.
that's all right.
A couple of guys. The directors are the Duffer Brothers, creators and directors. Actually, they're just creators because I saw that the directors differ from episode to episode.
I thought they had writing credit on it.
Really? It seems
I believe they're
seamless.
the writers as well.
They're writers, okay.
As maybe the sole child of the 80s at this table, really I think the genius of this was it's not just what you've enjoyed for the last 10 years. It is, which is really difficult to do. Lots of people have tried 80 nostalgia pieces, and it's really hard to do that and not have it feel like somebody trying to do an 80s nostalgia piece. This was like Spielberg meets Carpenter in a very honest way. This thing felt like honestly coming by Spielberg and Carpenter references without holding up a giant neon sign that says, "We're trying to be Spielberg and Carpenter."
Yeah, everything felt super organic. It was just, it's not only is it it strikes on the feelings of nostalgia so well, but the way it handles the emotional aspects, like the way it handles the characters and how they interact with each other, the young characters, the kids and the thing, they have such like genuine interactions with each other. Like I haven't seen stuff like that in years.
They took a lot of care to make sure that the boys all had and the girl as well, the 11 character. They took, a lot of steps to ensure that chemistry was natural. And I was reading an interview with the Duffer Brothers recently where they described how after they had made their casting selections for all of the boys and the young girl, that they all of the kids started texting each other and just communicating over the course of a summer, and actually formed a bond, that existed, before the filming began. And that D&D scene that you see in the opening of the first episode.
Hey, I haven't watched it yet. I didn't want to know about D&D spoilers.
For the record, Jeremy has yet to have watched the show, but all that to say that the one of the first things that you see in the show is the first thing that they shot, and they said that it just came together, so well, and all of their what you're seeing is genuine chemistry amongst those kids, and not something forced.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
they were.
So speaking of, let's point out that we do have one who has not seen this yet.
I haven't.
So Jeremy, what you've heard probably before the podcast, we were yammering on about it. You've heard us talking a little bit of it now.
Yeah.
Are we selling you on this? Or
I have seen the trailer, and what I gathered from it was a boy goes missing. I couldn't quite tell if he shows back up, but like you guys were talking about this girl, another character appears, and I gathered that she's from some sort of unknown, some sort of undisclosed scientific lab or something. And because they didn't give much away in the trailer, the little bit that they gave me about the characters kind of got me worried, because there have been a lot of network television shows that follow that same sort of formula. A boy goes missing.
Yeah.
Some sort of mysterious thing is going on in a small town. And some of them are not good shows.
Like the 3300 or whatever that.
Yeah,
4400.
Well, there's the 100 and the survivors. And,
It's definitely not one of those shows.
No.
I mean,
That's good to hear. But when it went from all of that, the story stuff and the characters, when it went from setting all that up straight into the title card.
Yeah, the title card.
I love that title.
The title card is just, and I was watching it. I realized the title card has
character.
For lack of a better term, it has the pop and screen crackle of a 1980s direct to film.
Yes, no, Marty is exactly right. You can see it especially so in the ending of it, in the actual title card of the episode.
Yeah.
You can see what, a film grain effect that's laid over it, and it's everything about it, just stylistically, is such a cool pastiche of all of these, different things. Like, I forget who said it, but somebody once said that mediums are defined by their by their inhibitors, the things that they cannot do well, and they paid close attention to that to make sure that film quality was there with the graininess and the pops.
I kind of worry that these guys have painted themselves in a corner, because unless they're the rare breed that goes like, hey, this is what we wanted to do, we did it, trying to top this, because now public perception on them is going to be, you've got to do something else and it has to be this cool. That's the sophomore album waiting to happen. Yeah, that's going to be a tough road.
I think you can almost argue that this is the sophomore album, because I'm not familiar with their. I haven't watched the show that they did previously, but previously they did what is it called? Wayward Pines is the name of the show that they produced previously.
Yeah. Oh, that was one of their creations.
I believe that was the Duffer Brothers. I'm gonna research that, because otherwise
Doesn't it follow that formula? A kid goes missing and strange things are happening.
No, but that one seems it's more. Again, it's kind of a twist on like the Twin Peaks. Things are not as they seem. In this quiet little town.
They were writers. They were listed as writers on Wayward Pines. I wasn't certain of if they had anything to do with its creation.
Okay, that may be as far as it goes. Then it's just that they're writers. I'm gonna find out.
Furthermore, on like the typography and the credit scenes and things of that nature. Whenever you first push play on the Netflix video, and it shows the fonts coming through. I mean, it zeroes in on I think it's Winona Ryder is the first person that's billed, and then you have these huge red like glowing triangles over her name, and that's part of it's part of the Stranger Things font.
Yeah,
but there's something about it that just. It got me so excited to watch every episode.
It's a perfect mood setter.
It really is.
It puts you right in the headspace that you want to be in. Yeah, it does exactly what it should.
Incredible.
Yeah.
It rivals like True Detective for really setting the tone for what you're about to watch.
Yeah.
So let's flip the script a little bit here. All of us have seen Stranger Things, and we had to sell it to Jeremy. Jeremy now gets to sell something to us. Let's. I understand you engaged in some busting of ghosts this weekend.
I busted a couple ghosts. My wife and I went to see the new Ghostbusters film, and went in with a blank slate of expectations. I'm a fan of the first two Ghostbusters. I knew that this one was going to be sort of rebooting the series. I couldn't quite tell if it is sort of a Star Trek reboot where it's alternate universes, or if it is set in the future of the old movies. I couldn't tell. But great cast of SNL actors. Melissa McCarthy is hilarious. A lot of great cameos. Almost everybody who isn't dead comes back in some form or another. No original roles, of course, but they all make some pretty great cameos. The story was somewhat run of the mill, a pretty level, straight narrative, but there were some unexpected pieces to it. So really really good comedy. Some really great humor, but it's also accessible to a younger audience,
which it needs to be. I mean, they were selling Ghostbusters toys, and I think they would have sold Ghostbusters cartoons and things like that earlier on when the first movies came out. But they made the movie, and then I don't know if Harold Ramis and Dan Aykroyd weren't aware of it, or just didn't think anybody still owned that. But the owners of the trademark from I want to say it was like in the 50s or 60s, there was a Ghostbusters property, might even have been farther back than that. And they jumped on it and created a cartoon based on this earlier thing called Ghostbusters that was like two dudes and a big monkey I'd love to tell you I'm kidding about this. This is so that's why when they eventually did make a cartoon based on the movie Ghostbusters, they had to call that show The Real Ghostbusters.
Oh,
but I think it was maybe the same studio that did like He-Man and shows like that jumped on this thing because I remember being a kid and seeing like, oh, Ghostbusters is going to be on Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah.
And you watch that first episode and you're like, there's a dude in a bowler hat and like a big gorilla. What the heck is going on? And then you sort of realize that this is not the same Ghostbusters. And then when I saw something called The Real Ghostbusters, you went like, oh, now we're talking. And it was obviously years later before I figured out exactly why that didn't make any sense. It's all black and white. It might even be the 1930s. I'm sorry. I don't have better information on that because while I am immortal, I don't remember the 30s.
We'll have all
It was a complicated time.
And more for you on a future edition of
That's right. There'll be a whole edition just of like errata. Here's all the crap we got wrong previously. Let's see, where we want to kind of keep this one a little short. Just sort of as an effort to introduce ourselves, give you some idea of what we're hoping to do and where we're coming from. We hope this has given you some kind of an idea of what's going on. And we certainly hope you stick around for the ride. We have got some really exciting episodes coming up. We're going to be looking at specific cultural trends. We're going to be looking at specific cultural cliches. There's going to be a lot of stuff that we're going to hit. We really hope you join us for all of it. This is going to be a lot of fun. Real quick, don't forget. I need to not remember to remind you to not forget to visit us online at revolvingculture.com. You can like us on Facebook. We're Revolving Culture Podcast. Instagram and Twitter, please follow us. We'd love to hear what you had to say. It's at RevCult Podcast. You can search for us on iTunes. We're just going to be Revolving Culture Podcast. And we really look forward to you coming along with us. We've got a lot of fun planned and in store, and we shall see you next time. Thank you all very much for listening. And on behalf of the entire panel, we bid you a fondue.
Bye. Bye.